Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Be Me Global Podcast, a safe place where you can authentically keep it real and be yourself. I'm sure our audience really enjoyed our last episode, and we are ready to take a deeper dive into the journey of Rosalyn Thomas' story on the topic of brokenness and forgiveness.
Gentleman number 2 went to jail again. Now I'm working. So I'm riding a bus, no car. I could drive people's car, but I have no license. I'm riding a bus to the jail, taking him money for cigarettes and just helping him, right? And my sister, who is just a little bit older than me, she was mad about that. And so she had a little talk with me. She was like, I don't get you. Why? You're not his wife. Why are you spending your money, And so, we had a thing, and I just, stayed in that space because that's who I wanted to be with for whatever reason, So then, because he's back and forth in jail, I have these opportunities to mess around maybe with somebody else until he's out for good, what I call it, but who knows what for good is, right? Because he kept going back and forth. So my sister and her boyfriend, like we had a family friend, they hooked me up with him. We kind of started dating.
This is gentleman number 4.
Gentleman number 4.
Okay.
And so gentleman number 4, because he was a family friend, he was pleasant to be around because, he knew our family. So it wasn't like I was in any danger or anything, but I knew I was drinking and drugging, when I got a chance. So, and he understood that. So me and him started having sex, and I stayed with him until this last prison thing happened with him, and his mom didn't have the money to bail him out. So I'm in this active relationship with the friend of the family, but I was very honest, very open with the friend of the family. And I told him, I said, you know what? I really love him. So, yep, we can hang out, go to the bar, have sex. We could do this. But as soon as he gets out, it's over.
And that's gentleman number 2 getting out. As soon as he gets out, it's over. You're telling that to gentleman number 4.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was okay with that. Yeah, I think he respected the fact that I could be honest with him about that, because who does that and stay with a person, right? So, but he was a friend of the family, so we just hit it off, And so, so fast forward maybe a year and a half, it was time for gentleman number 2 to get out of jail.
Okay.
His mom got the money together. And so I go to gentleman number 4 and tell him, I'm excited. I was like, his mom got the money to get him out. So he'll be out. And I think this is going to be his last time going. I'm hopeful, right? And I was like, so, remember I told you, we done soon as he get out. He was like, but he ain't getting out. And this was around Christmas time. But he ain't getting out for a few days. I think it was a couple of days. He was like, so how about we do it one more time? And, because of who he was, I felt that was okay. I felt like because he didn't ever treat me any way bad or anything.
So you felt like you owed him?
I felt like I owed him.
Because he was kind.
Like, absolutely. Okay. So we did it that time. But that was it. Okay. He knew once we did that, it's over. So now, a couple of days later, gentleman number 2 gets out of jail. and we like going at it 3 times a day. I mean, we're making up for lost time because he, I missed him.
Right.
And I'm sure he missed me. And his mom would allow us to
To
do
be in her
this
place.
in her house.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was easy to do it. And I just know that when that happened, that was the turning point for my life.
Okay.
In what I thought was a good way, because I got pregnant.
Okay.
Right. I was thinking two things. This pregnancy is gonna bring him out of the street. He ain't gonna want to do that no more. He gonna want to, we gonna get married, raise our son or our daughter. Because I was pregnant, I ain't know what it was, a girl or a boy. And have our family do our thing. But because I had sex with the family friend 2 days prior, it's like, I know we're doing 3 times a day, but I'm pregnant. Like, which one is it?
Okay.
And so because I never told gentleman 2 that was in prison about gentleman 4.
Okay.
I never, because I watched how he handled people in the street, and I just could never see myself being on his bad side. So maybe there was an underlying issue of fear.
Okay.
If I ever like had to have so I always wanted our relationship to be okay. And that seems strange to me, because it's like, why would you want to be with somebody you're afraid of? But I wasn't afraid of him at that level. I just knew I saw what happened to people that crossed him. I saw what happened to people that he had a little reign over, or whatever you want to call it. I've seen him operate. So I didn't think it was a good idea to share. I was just hoping it was his baby.
Okay.
So, I had the baby. It was a boy, my baby.
Okay.
And babies, you can't tell. So I'm still not saying anything to him. But 5 months later, he got killed.
Gentleman number 2.
Gentleman number 2 that was in prison. So, and we had a conversation about him coming out of the street and getting a job, and we gonna take care of our son. We had that conversation after I had my son.
Okay.
And I was excited about that. But I knew that there could be a thing about him coming out of the street. You could say it, but you got some things you gotta take care of before you can do it. And that's what he was doing. So they got him one more time. But when he got out this time, whatever happened, they killed him. So, and we were used to gunshots in Chicago, right in our vicinity. So, I heard the gunshots. I didn't have no reason to think
that it was
anything.
Him.
Right. But when his brother the next morning ran to my mom's house to say they killed him, in my mind, because him and one of his brothers was real close, they kind of wore the same jackets and stuff. I'm like, it didn't have to be him. This is in my mind. Yeah, it didn't have to be him. It could have been his brother. But no matter what, a mother still lost one of her sons. But on me, I'm thinking about my son, and hopefully this wasn't his dad, right? Okay. And so I did what I did, and I went with his mom to identify the body, and it was him. And that thing, I could still feel that. There's things I think we'll never, and I don't like this that I'm doing right now. I've never done play for play about my life with anybody. People know things. We talked about things. But this thing right now, I've never done it before. So to go with his mom to identify the body, and back then they pulled, because he was at the county, they pull, you come down on an elevator and they pull the body in front of you and take the sheet off. And I could still remember in that little elevator thing, that thing knocked me back because I'm thinking it could possibly be his brother. But when I saw it for myself, that thing, even now, as I recall it, I could feel that same pain. So that's why I don't talk about, my journey. I don't talk about my life because there's some painful spots. So, I had stopped drinking while I was pregnant, but soon as I saw that, it was on. So I started getting sloppy drunk again, so right?
Deeper down.
Deep. I mean, deep. And the next thing that happened now, so we have his funeral, and maybe a month or two later, I find out I'm pregnant again. Now, this time I notice him. Okay. Right? I'm still going through this thing about, is my son his or the family members? But now I'm watching my son and I'm like, yeah, let me see it. So I look throughout his family to make that. Now, right now, today, yes, we have strong genes on my side of the family. But when I look at his picture, my son looks, he just reminds me so much of him. Okay. Oh my goodness. So that was good. Even though I didn't have it on paper, I knew in my heart. But when I found out I was pregnant by him and we had just buried him, I got sloppy drunk and I went and talked to the people at the abortion center. And they said, come back, we'll do it. And I did. Okay. So.
And you did that because you felt, I'm in no condition. I mean, what was happening in your mind to make that decision to get aborted?
Because I didn't know how I was going to take care of my son I already had. I was trying to do the public aid thing, whatever I was doing, because his dad didn't have right. He was just kind of trying to come out of the street. He was a chef, he cooked, he was a DJ, so he could make a little, but I just had no real resources like that. I could live with my mom. I knew that wasn't an issue, but yeah. So I was like, and I think the pain of him getting killed and our son is only 5 months old, that thing, and to me, I wasn't in my right mind. Yes. I'm trying to drink the pain of his death away and make a conscious decision to take care of my son.
And now I'm learning I got life.
And now I got right. I'm like, there's no way. This is what I said to myself. There's no way in the mindset, I'm in the condition of my mind that I could do 2 babies like this. I didn't even know how I was going to do the one. But my mom, bless her heart, I think because she knew, like there was a moment back in my teenage years that I tried to commit suicide. So I had to go to the hospital and stuff. They talked about it. I came out of that, but I hadn't had a baby then. So having the baby and having his death occur and then finding out I'm pregnant, I know my mom was like, because even before his funeral, she told me, she said, you just go and take care of you. I'll take care of the baby. I'll take care of my grandson. So I just went somewhere where I could just drink. That's what I did.
That's how you chose to take care of you. It's just
drink.
She took care of my baby. She gave me the freedom to just kind of.
Right. I knew my son was going to be okay. And there was a part of me that really wanted to raise him, but a part of me didn't.
Well, part of me, you were not like, mentally healthy.
Like, ooh, what kind of mother is you gonna be? Type of deal.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting ready to have an abortion. You know what I'm saying? So
And you've already dealt with the spirit of suicide,
Right.
from what you were saying.
Yeah, I dealt with that, and it I'm glad that passed.
Yeah.
But I think my mom might have had second thoughts that I might try and do something to myself,
Okay.
because that was traumatic for me.
Yeah, that is.
And so
And
after
you're
the
what? How old are you at that point?
I am. This was in 19. Let's see. I had my son September 1976. His dad got killed in February 1977. I turned
Probably early 20s.
I turned 20 in the next month after his death.
So you're just
He
20 years
died.
old, and this is your experience to date. You're
Yeah,
taking us
because
through.
I
You're
got
just
pregnant
20.
at 18, had my son at 19 when I was 19, and his dad got killed
Okay.
right before I turned 20. And
Okay.
we were the same age, me and his dad.
Wow.
So he got killed at 19. No, he got killed at 20 because um, he was, his birthday was January.
Okay. So go on.
That's strange because he died on February 20th, and so did my dad all these years later. I thought about that, but I didn't go back there. I left that thing. But even as I'm talking and sharing right now, it's painful, but I'm glad that I'm alive to talk about it. So if it can help somebody.
And I
then
appreciate your,
yeah.
the only way you can even share what you're sharing, you have acquired some level of freedom and deliverance from some of this stuff, even though it may still be kind of painful to talk about. But I great respect for you being our first guest, and allowing the audience to see a real, authentic, transparent conversation that you're taking us through. And there's more good news to come out of that, but just taking us through the journey play by play, and giving you a platform to just voice that, because I'm sure even as you're talking, although you're experiencing some memories of pain, there's still some type of freedom or release that's happening at the same time. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. As painful as this is, that was after I had the abortion. um, I I hooked up with gentleman number 5,
Okay.
and the reason being that I hooked up with him is because he knew my son's father. So I'm thinking, okay, my son's father, he just got killed. Nobody knew I just had an abortion. I didn't talk about it. But he just got killed. So I'm thinking he's gonna, provide and do good by me and my son. That did not happen. Found out, he was having his own drug problem. And
Own dysfunctions.
yeah.
He had his own set of brokenness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was with him, I know, a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3, I don't know. But I got pregnant by him. And I know he didn't mean to do it, but we were just playing around. But he pushed me. I fell backwards over the couch, and I'm pregnant. So I started bleeding. I lost the baby. But there was a part of me, because how me and my son was in his space, there was a part of me that not, I don't know how to say it. I wasn't glad.
But you were okay that
I just felt like had I had his baby, I would have been tied to him for life because of who I was.
Okay.
So I lost the baby. And for me, that was like a way out for me. I was like, yeah. So we're at the apartment. We have a deadbolt on it. So he locks us in. So he took the key. When you got a deadbolt, there's no way out except through the window.
Okay, wait a minute. You got to back me up.
Mm-hmm.
We know that y'all got physical and you fell over and you miscarried the baby.
I miscarried the baby.
But you arrived to a place where I no longer can be in this relationship and I have to leave.
Correct.
And leaving, he's taking these actions of locking you in so you can't leave. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
Okay,
he said,
sorry.
if he can't have me, can't nobody have me.
Oh, okay.
Is what he said. You know, I'm like, man, all these dysfunctional people I'm looking up with. But I was dysfunctional.
And
so
you have a son walking.
I got a son that's in this house locked in with me. So I called my dad.
Okay.
And my dad and my brother come. And his mom, like, loved the Lord. And so when my dad and my brother came and said, let my daughter out of here, give her to me, he said, nope, if I can't have her, ain't nobody gonna have her. And he pulled a gun, a shotgun, on my dad and my brother. He didn't use it, but just to pull it. You know, when I think about some of the decisions I made and the choices I made that could have cost other people their life. You know what I'm saying? I was messed up. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
But his mom talked him into, number one, putting the gun down, number two, letting us out. And I never looked back. I went back to my mom's house. But he kept at me. So
meaning now trying to stay in contact?
Yes.
Okay.
He knew where my mom lived. So
okay.
He would come, you know, sometime to see if I get back with him.
Okay.
But I didn't want to have anything to do with him on that level ever again, right?
Okay.
So I'm riding the bus to work. Well, that happened even before. I was riding a bus to work and I met a bus driver that invited me to church, introduced me to the Lord.
This gentleman number 6.
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
he was
okay.
just
he was just a bus driver.
He was
okay.
just a bus driver.
Okay.
So he introduced me. And that led to me going to church.
Okay.
And you know, when I got saved, I just felt like God would protect me because I didn't know how to protect me. You know what I'm saying? I've had some issues, you know, even when I had to fight him, I had to drink alcohol to give me that liquid courage so I could fight him. It's like, what are you doing? You know, but that's where I was, you know, in my life. So I got away from him, met the bus driver, went to church. Now I'm at my mom's house and I meet this guy that lives right around the corner. He is a cab driver. Okay. So that's gentleman. I can't keep up with these gentlemen. You got to help
6.
me. Yeah,
this is number 6 now.
Okay. So this is gentleman number 6. So I'm around the corner at my mom. So sometime, you know, when we started dating, sometime me and my son or just me would spend the night at his house. It was right around the corner from my mom. I could get to my son quick or whatever. But then I started taking my son over there because I thought we was getting serious. And he had his own set of issues. I mean, like I say, I think everybody has issues. Some people can control them better. They get the help they need or whatever. Yeah.
Camouflage them or be functioning alcoholics, functioning drug addict, you know, it could be many different things.
So now I'm in church, don't know much about it, but I'm there. And so I'm getting ready to get baptized. So I'm talking to him about it. I'm excited, but he's not. So I was like, well, you should be because I think it's helping me as a person helping change my life.
Yeah.
I was like, so you a cab driver. I got to call a cab for me and my son to get to church when you got a cab outside. He was like, I ain't taking you. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So when I did get baptized, I still looked for him because I thought he would think about it and see that that was best. He didn't want no part of it, but it would be best for me and my son.
You thought he would still show up.
I thought he would show up. I remember to this very day walking down in the baptismal pool and looking at the back door, the church door. And I scanned the church. He did never show. And that helped me get away from him. That helped release me from him. Okay. And I told him, I was like, you know what? You didn't show. So I feel we ain't supposed to be together no more. I'm going to just do this church thing. So I left him, went back around to my mom's. Like I got my little clothes. I just had a few clothes at his house. And so now he's chasing me back and forth at my mom's. Want me to get back with him. In the meantime, in between time, I meet gentleman number 7. He's a bus driver too. Okay. So my bus driver friend that introduced me to the Lord and invited me to church knew this bus driver. Okay. So I'm catching the bus to work. So I'm looking for either one of them. Okay. Right. And I'm excited. I'm in church. So things are different, so to speak, for me. Okay. And I had a little bit of joy, you know. And so when I met this bus driver, I remember he changed my name. He was just so nice. And I spoke to everybody anyway. And he was like, you always, every time you get on my bus, you like, I'm going to call you Sweet Face. Oh. And so me and him started talking. Okay. And he became my gentleman boyfriend. 7. Yes. Right? Okay. But he was like none of the others. He treated me from the place that we were like a queen. Wow. That's how I felt when I was around him. I knew that he wanted the best for me. I knew he wanted the best for my son. I knew, you know, he was just that kind of guy. Yeah. And guess what? My grandmother loved him. You know, I think people in the family liked him too because they knew about all my other hazardous relationships. Yes. So they were like, man, she finally found somebody decent. You know, so, you know, and he was, but he had his own baby mama drawn. He had his own life. Okay. But we were attracted to one another. And I was like, he was very kind. Is, yes. And so he would come over my house. Well, let me back up. I met him while I was still living. I met him on the bus while I was still living with my mom and riding the bus to work. Okay. And, but I knew I needed to leave my mom's house because there was a lot of us living there together. And that's where we drank a lot and did things, you know. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm in church now. I don't want to drink no more. That was me. But I, you know, I was trying. Yeah. But so I'm seeing him all the time now. He's calling me. I'm calling him. And he's taking me out to eat. I mean, he was just a genuinely nice guy. I think a lot of people liked him just because of who he was, how he carried himself or whatever. So I'm at a place and he's talking to me about a car. He was like, Sweet Face, I can help you get you a car. I was like, oh, okay. So he did. And I was telling him how now that I'm in church, I really need to get out of my mom's house because sometimes I'll be wanting to drink and stuff with them, but I really don't want to do it. Even when I do it, I feel bad, whatever. He was like, well, I help you get an apartment too. I was like, yay, thank you. So I got an apartment. I didn't have no furniture. I just had my son's bed and something else. But, you know, I remember we were such friends. I think because we were friends before we started dating, we had a chance. And so he helped me get the apartment. I sat on the floor and cried because I was struggling to pay the first month rent. He said, "Sweet face, it's going to be okay. You know, I'm going to help you." I was like, "Thank you, but at some point I want to be able to do it on my own." He said, "I know, but I'm going to help you." And he did. So he helped me with that. He helped me. Now I'm working at the airline, and he helped me with the car, the apartment, and now I'm working at a place where I'm afraid to fly. My god sister, we went to high school together. We started high school together in our freshman year.
Okay.
Um, and so, she got me application. "You got to come work at the airline." Girl, I'm working for the airline and I'm scared of planes. She was like, "Come, girl, come." And I'm glad I did, because within a year and a half, 2 years, gentleman number 7, ooh, I almost said his name. Gentleman number 7 um, said, "I'm going to help you get over it." He was just always helping me with something. He said, "I'm going to help you get over this fear of flying."
Okay.
I was, I got buddy passes, $50. He said, "Here's $50. Give me a buddy pass, and I'm going to fly you somewhere for lunch. We're going to get over this." And guess where he took me? To Dallas.
To Dallas. Oh, okay.
That was my ever in my life. From Chicago to Dallas, we went to lunch. But while we're on the plane,
I hope our audience is taking a liking to our special guest story on brokenness and forgiveness. Over the next 4 weeks, she will continue to take us on a journey in which she's sharing her story on how she overcame some of the darkest and most challenging moments in her life. Be on the lookout for weekly drops every Thursday. And remember, Be Me Global is a safe place where you can authentically keep it real and be yourself. See you next time.